bring his ass to this ring? Give me a hell yeah!
Oh, yeah, what the heck? What the heck? Why the heck not?
Let's do this.
Yes, absolutely. And back once a week, again, for another episode of SCI Wrestling. I did say it right, didn't I?
Yes.
I did. I'm WB Reddit Ward.
And I'm Chip Douglas. I was going to try to put something there, but I couldn't think of anything off the top of my head.
Well, when you have nothing. Did you understand the reference, though?
Reddit. Yeah, of course I did.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you give away the... So you are Dolphin 1925, I think.
Let's refer to how many predictions you got right in last week's pay-per-view.
Oh, gosh.
Which you did get some. But oddly enough, the only ones you got right were the ones in which you agreed with me. Those are it. Really? Anything else that you disagreed with me on, you got wrong.
Well, I think this goes to show that they listen to the show and they value my opinion, and they just really do not want to follow my storylines. Mm-hmm. They want to differ from me. Mm-hmm. I don't know why they feel like they should be in competition with me, but they are. They are. That's blatantly obvious now.
Oh boy. Yeah, this is your excuse for the fact that I got 100% every prediction I made for last week's pay-per-view for Extreme Rules came true.
Good job, by the way.
Yes, I did.
I don't know if I ever congratulated you. I kind of avoid your text messages when you text to me.
I got to tell you, I was surprised. Isn't that the first time either one of us ever got 100%?
Yeah, that's first time ever.
Yeah,
first time ever.
It's not the last. It's not the last.
Well,
I will do it again.
Basically, we go on record and say that Payback next pay-per-view, since it's going to be the exact same matches, if I have the same exact outcome.
It won't be the exact same matches, because don't forget where they're going to have Payback.
Chicago, right?
Yes. Yeah. Do you foresee a possible return of some beloved superstar to get his payback?
No.
No?
No.
No?
No.
Oh.
His girlfriend, speaking of news about him, about the man, I guess that will be remain nameless.
Who, CM Punk?
Yeah,
I won't say his name.
Yeah, that guy who remains nameless.
Okay.
His girlfriend not his girlfriend, but his ex-girlfriend from high school, who they're still really close friends,
right?
That he grew up with, has threw it out there on Twitter that CM Punk is retired.
His girlfriend said that?
Yeah, well, ex-girlfriend, but yeah.
Now, why should we believe the word of an ex-girlfriend? Believing the word of a girlfriend is bad enough, but an ex-girlfriend?
Well, there are different circumstances here. They were like boyfriend girlfriend back like in high school.
Yeah.
But they grew up together, so it was one of those relationships where, they knew they couldn't work as a relationship, but they stayed best friends. Yeah. Afterwards.
Yeah. After she posted that, to which CM Punk was quoted as saying, "Bitch." But you got to admit, if he's going to get a payback or make a comeback anyway, this is going to be the place to do it.
Oh yeah.
I will say this: if he doesn't make a comeback in this particular pay-per-view, I think that will be the nail in the coffin, and that is going to signal, yep, Punk is gone.
I agree.
And because if he's going to come back, this is when it's going to happen. Otherwise, forget it, gang. Okay, now we've been very lax in the last couple of shows on this, so let's try to right a wrong by replugging our social media. Yes. First off, about the emails. If you do have a question concerning professional wrestling, send us an email at sci@wbward.com. We answer all. And if we use your question here on the air, you win a free 3MB air guitar. What can you?
SCI_wrestling is our Twitter page.
Yes.
Please go follow us there. We are rapidly growing on Twitter.
We are growing.
We thank you for all our new followers.
Twitter's bigger.
And then Square Circle Insider Wrestling is our Facebook page.
Now, speaking, of course, since you brought up the aspect of our Twitter, let's go ahead and do it.
Man.
Right on cue.
It's like Michael Jackson's like herpes. He just catches up to you really quick.
That's an interesting comparison. Okay, so what say you? What is our tweet of the week?
All right, so this tweet of the week is not really a funny one. It's more of a thoughtful advice.
Okay.
And it kind of leads into my what I was going to say after the fact. So this tweet of the week comes from Kurt Angle, and this is the real Kurt Angle.
Okay, cool.
He goes, loyalty. When you stay loyal to others, you stay loyal to yourself. Integrity is key to a valued life with God. And so he tweeted this 3 days ago.
Yeah.
It was just reported today that he is no longer with TNA Wrestling.
Wow. I know he underwent some surgery here not too long ago.
In fact, apparently he, unfortunately for Kurt Angle, he actually tore his ACL.
Yes.
Just here, I guess this week. So he tore his ACL, but which is very sad news. You know, get well soon. But the bigger news is the fact that he's not with TNA. So that leaves the door open for a possible WWE return. That'll
be interesting to see. In a way, yeah, I'm kind of got mixed emotions as to whether or not I'd like to see him back, because I was never really what you'd call a Kurt Angle fan. But if the WWE ever needed talent, they need it now.
They need it now.
I was not a big fan of him, but I will admit, I mean, the man is a very talented performer.
Very good.
I'll give him that. I will give him that. It's just, not my cup of tea.
I think
that's
seeing him versus Daniel Bryan.
Now that would be good.
I think that'd be very fun to watch.
That or resurrect some of the feud between him and
Brock Lesnar?
No. He never had a feud with Lesnar, did he?
Oh, yes, he did.
Did he?
Yeah, they main evented WrestleMania 22, I believe.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I forgot all about that. No, I was thinking of resurrecting the feud between him and John Cena, because of the fact that John Cena
was his first match.
Yeah, that was John Cena's debut was to wrestle him.
Yeah, I remember that.
So they're interested in doing comebacks and returns, and that I think that would be a natural.
Oh, absolutely.
Be a great introduction.
Speaking
to
of returns, there's also a lot of rumors out there that WWE is trying to bring back Chris Jericho for a full-time schedule.
Would Chris Jericho do it? Because he's almost as unreliable now as Brock Lesnar.
If they bring it back to some kind of full-time status, yeah, it would work. I've actually never been the biggest Chris Jericho fan.
Yeah, he's okay.
I know a lot of people think of him very highly, and I think he's a very talented performer, but I never really...
Well, he's part of our opening sequence.
Yeah, I know. I know.
The Ayatollah rock and roller.
I just never was the biggest fan.
Can you name his band?
Fozzy, is it?
Fozzy? That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Woohoo.
That's it. Between him,
cheap plug
Chris Benoit, myself, and there's one other, and I can't think of who it is. But can you think of what the common thread between him, Chris Benoit, and me?
Boy, that's a different thread. No, I don't know at all.
Hockey.
Oh,
hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah. All three of us have at one time or another played hockey. So
that's true.
And I got my goalie stick way back over there somewhere. Oh, it was there. Oh,
not anymore.
Oh, well. Not the first time I lost that, but sometimes I just go in the closet, look at my skates, and cry. Can't do that no more. Before we get involved too deep in wrestling, you made your radio debut this week.
I did make my radio debut.
Tell us about it.
Oh, yeah, it was a lot of fun. 1430 The Buzz, which is a show here locally in Tulsa. It's called The Big Show with Chris Plink and Jeremy Poplin. You can hear on iHeartRadio. I don't think you can hear the show when I made my debut. I've tried searching for it to see if they...
I wish they did. I tried to find it.
I did too. I might message him, see if it is uploaded somewhere. But I can't find it at this moment. But it was a lot of fun. Great guys. We talked briefly about the worst gimmicks in WWE or in wrestling history.
Yeah.
Of course, the obvious ones were the ones we talked about.
Sure.
And Papa and I have been tweeting back and forth about doing doing the fantasy draft again.
Oh.
With wrestlers again. Now that we did that before.
Yeah.
With WWE wrestlers, but Papa's interested in doing it. And open it up to history as far as all the wrestlers who have.
Do you remember what my theme was of my draftees?
It was something stupid.
I didn't think it was stupid. I thought it was pretty sound. All of my drafts that I made within wrestling were all wrestlers who had defeated Bill Goldberg.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
There's nothing stupid about that.
Oh my goodness. Yes, so I do remember that now.
I thought that was
All
quite
guys
sound.
that beat Bill Goldberg.
You got to admit that's kind of a short list.
I just remembered your randomness, really. Because it'd be your pick and it would just be someone off the wall.
Yeah. Yeah, because I picked some ladies there only because I could pronounce their name.
Or you picked AJ Lee because you want something that's cute to sit on your lap.
Yes, that's true. Well, and what's wrong with that? You and I guys have two completely different trains of thought.
Obviously.
Okay.
I think with one head, you think with the other.
Well, we all have our hobbies. Now, so you made your big time radio debut.
I did. So it was a blast.
I wish I could do that. I've never to be on a big station like 1430 The Buzz. Wow. Never done that.
It'd be the return for you, wouldn't it?
Well, kind of. I was only on there to do traffic reports.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
but yeah, it would be a return to the same studio. It would be just like, revisiting the scene of a crime.
Oh.
Hey, we've heard some legal rumors going on about the WWE. A little while ago, you and I were talking a little bit about the possibility of some kind of a lawsuit between the shareholders and WWE.
Yeah, we don't know too much information about this.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that I've read previously, and for some reason I can't find this article anymore, which makes you wonder.
Yes.
But basically the whole premise is stockholders are upset with possible fraud, really.
Well,
because of the fact with the stockholders' numbers, they do not think that WBE is accurately portraying their income or their profit and loss reports to the stockholders effectively. So basically, they are manipulating the actual numbers,
cooking the books,
to raise the stock number.
And that kind of goes hand in hand with a rumor that I read that a lot of the locker room is really upset because the royalties that they're getting paid, which a few years ago were like in the $60,000-$70,000 range, are like now in the $10,000-$15,000 range.
Yep.
And a lot of the wrestlers are starting to rebel a little bit behind the scenes because their accusation is that they're dipping into the talent expenses to help pay for the WWE network.
Yep.
And we all keep a budget of some sort. So most of us, oh boy, yours truly, especially in this one, most of us are quite adept to the idea of robbing Peter to pay Paul. So the idea that this being a possibility of them actually dipping into the talent coffers, as it were, is not totally unbelievable. That's something that could be considered to be a fairly common practice among show business in particular. Ironically enough, the talent is very often the ones who get the shaft financially, when in fact they are the ones who are making the money.
Yep. To me, this is actually a really scary sign. And it's almost to the point where I'm almost with you, to the where maybe the WB network was not the best decision, because if it's going to prohibit or damage, which it almost sounds like it is, the actual future of WBE, boy, that's dangerous.
Now
that's
let me pour a little salt into that wound.
Go ahead.
It is possible. It is entirely possible that if the WWE network does not work now, they might have to close their doors, because
that's what I'm talking about.
I fear that they may have burned their bridges behind them with some of the television outlets. Now that they got the idea of, hey, we got our own network, what do we really need you guys for? As we noted,
pay-per-view providers.
The last pay-per-view was not carried by two of the largest providers, DirecTV or Dish Network.
Right.
Now, in all fairness, we do not know who made the decision. Was it WWE or was it the two television providers?
It was the two television providers.
Are you sure?
That's 100% confirmed.
Okay. See, I in all honesty, I really didn't know. But if that's the case, then that could set up possibly the precedence for exactly what you and I were just talking about. Because if there's nobody going to be carrying their pay-per-views or their television programs, if they lose their contract with the USA Network and the
which is coming up.
Yes, that's true. The end of that contract is swiftly approaching.
Yes.
If that does happen, we might witness an implosion and possibly the debut of a new wrestling faction on the horizon. And I wonder whom that would be.
I mean, it's very interesting. This is a real different time for wrestling, and this isn't a time that we've never experienced, because the fact that we're looking at having a the prominent organization for the past decades be in financial problems, to the fact they could close doors. So who's that leave the door open to? Well, what's really curious is the fact that there's a couple new organizations that are starting to grab a little bit of ground.
TNA?
Not so much TNA.
No.
I was thinking more of a new company that's starting to gain traction called Global Force Wrestling, which is funded by Toby Keith, the country star.
Oh, that's right.
Which it's ran by Jeff Jarrett. And then also, even besides that, you have AAA, which is a Mexican organization, coming out with AAA USA.
And, the great thing about that is at the end of each wrestling show, if you have car problems, they'll come out and jump your car.
That's true. That's true.
So it's one-stop shopping right there. AAA, do you happen to know which country in Mexico, which state in Mexico they're from, I mean?
Which state?
Yeah. Well, in Mexico, they have states like the United States.
Oh, well, I don't know what state, but okay. I know they prominently wrestle like in Mexico City.
Okay, then they're probably from there.
Yeah.
I see. When I lived in Mexico, I lived in Chihuahua. That was the name of the state.
I've actually been there.
Chihuahua.
I've been there actually a couple of times.
Chihuahua?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is just south of the border. What, down in Nuevo Laredo?
It's about 4 hours from the border, isn't it?
Chihuahua?
Yeah.
No. Nuevo Laredo is one of the cities that are within the state of Chihuahua.
Oh.
No, it's that gets right up to the border.
Okay.
Indeed.
Well, I've actually been to a town or a city called Chihuahua in Mexico.
That's the name of a state, an actual state, and a desert. So.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, enough of geography lesson for the day. I hate to keep riding this horse week after week after week, but the loss of the streak was such a historic event within professional wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
There's only one thing that keeps me from putting the end of the streak up at the same point where Andre the Giant handed the belt over to Hulk Hogan. There's only one thing that keeps me from doing that, and that's the fact that it went to Brock Lesnar. If it weren't for that, this could have been a giant moment within professional wrestling. What say you?
I think that's been the big thing about the whole streak thing is who it went to. Mm-hmm. Now there's a lot of news coming out to the circumstances to why it happened. Whose call was it? Apparently, from what I've heard, it's all been last minute type stuff. I don't know. I mean, I'm still okay with it. I've moved on a little bit. And I think it benefits Brock Lesnar. I think it benefits his opponents from here on out.
Well, it's funny you should ask that because last Wednesday on the Ross Report, Jim Ross was speaking with Shawn Michaels via telephone from an undisclosed location in Texas, and they talked about this very subject. As a matter of fact, one of the questions that Jim Ross asked Shawn Michaels was just to show you how surprised everybody was within the industry. He said,
"I was shocked. And I guess even afterwards, I'm somewhat amused. You check your Twitter and we hear the stories that are out there, and none of them are accurate. And everybody was stunned. One person alone makes that call, and as much as everyone wants to think other people have some say-so on that, they don't.
Wow.
And I've never asked. I was there when it all happened. I know what happened, but that's it's I make the calls around here in my house. That's the way things go, and again for me, I'm leaving the next day, and I'm sure in Vince's mind he's got a reason, and so that's fine for me, and quite honestly, none of it's my business anyway.
I actually watched the WrestleMania from the hotel because I was writing a column for Fox Sports as the show was progressing, and then I had to finish it up like a real sports writer. And as the clock wound down to 0, the score was whatever. So I watched it at the hotel, and I'm just floating along there, and when I saw what went down, I said, wait a minute, that can't be. That can't happen. You can't lose. So here's the deal. Here's what I told somebody. I said, I wouldn't be surprised if the decision for the streak to end didn't happen at the 11th hour or the weekend of. Could have.
I can tell you 4 hours.
Okay.
Wow.
So 4 hours before
4
the show.
hours.
Okay. So the other thing is that if the reason was it was time and it was you're looking for something to shock and to really get people to flock to the WWE network, and it was the guy's 49 years old, and nobody, and you and I both know nobody respects Mark Calloway more than you and me. My God, he's the man.
Mark Calloway's the Undertaker, by the way.
He's John Wayne. Yep. He's all those things. He's Davy Crockett. He's wherever you want him to be. He's bigger than life. So I saw him at the Hall of Fame about a little bit longer than I saw you sitting in the makeup chair, just combing your hair, of course. But I said, we hugged and I said, "How you doing, big man?" He said, "I'm good." And I said, "How many more of these you think you got in you?" And I was BSing. I'm glad to see him, and he looked good and lean, and I hugged him, and man, he was, solid. And he said, "I don't know." He said, "I'll let you know in a few hours."
Wow. And so that little snippet of conversation just goes to show how big of a surprise this was, even to people who were so close to professional wrestling. Because as you heard Shawn say, the decision was made only 4 hours before. Now, he didn't say whether it was 4 hours before the match took place or 4 hours before the show started, because that would put it in two different time frames.
Right.
But still, it still comes down to kind of a last minute call.
And I think his at the beginning of the interview, he mentioned that only one person makes a call like that.
Yes.
And
you think he might have been talking about Vince?
You think? Contrary to some rumors out there that it was a mutual decision, and he basically just laid out there that that's not true. One person makes the call and one person makes the call. That's it.
Yep. And for better or for worse, the decision was made, and now we are into what I would call the third chapter of the WWE. And I'm just hoping it's not the final chapter.
Yeah, me too. But I understand, unless there's something going on at next year's WrestleMania with Undertaker, it could be a possibility to where they will do the Undertaker versus Sting at next year's WrestleMania. And with that said, logically, there's no way that Sting would break the streak because of the fact that it'd be his only one match. So if you break the streak now, then it's more of a nostalgia type match as opposed to Sting ending the streak. Does that make sense?
Yeah, just decorations on the dinner table.
Exactly.
And that's really about the extent of it.
Right.
As far as we have another pay-per-view coming up. It's going to be Payback, and it happens exactly 3 weeks from tonight. And of the possible, I have an idea of a possible feud that we might in fact see starting to blossom even as I speak at you now. And that would be between, now this would be a real surprise to see. It would be between Rusev and Jack Swagger.
Really?
The reason I say that is if you've paid close attention to Rusev's promos that he and his wife or girlfriend or whatever the heck that bimbo is, agent, the ravishing Russian, whatever her name is, they've been very, very political. They brought up a lot of current politics, like, for instance, Putin has recently declared obscenity illegal within the Soviet Union. It is absolutely illegal. It's not permitted in movies. It's not permitted in books. Ain't that a bunch of shit?
Yeah.
So, they're really starting to push these buttons. Now, it just hit me this morning with Jack Swagger and his old gimmick, which is not all that far removed from the present of being the all-American American. And with his tie-in with Zeb Coulter, with him, yelling off the top of his head about, illegal immigrants and things like that. I can see, of all the characters within the WWE right now, I can see them taking the greatest offense to the comments about Alexander Putin and his recent tirade that he started up once again in the Soviet Union, and them trying to expand their boundaries politically, I can see that working into a pretty interesting American versus the Soviet storyline.
Boy, you kind of caught me off guard with that one. I can see it happen in the future, but I just don't see two heels going at it right now. I think that would require Swagger to turn face for that to happen.
Oh, he'll definitely have to turn face.
I just don't see that happening right now. And two, right now, did you watch Raw?
Yes, I did.
Okay, did you not see the segment with Adam Rose and Jack Swagger?
Well, I did, but Adam Rose is going to be just a flash in the pan. If he's there 3 weeks from now, I'd be surprised.
Well, I think right now they're trying to build an Adam Rose Jack Swagger match for Payback.
I think they're trying to. I just don't think it will happen. I think Adam Rose is. I can see Bo Leave having far greater success. Adam Rose, I can see being a gimmick that people are going to get tired of real quick.
Yeah,
real quick.
It's Fandango.
I will draw back as an example to that. Kakarni, I think was his name, as I mentioned him a few weeks ago, and you did not remember him.
I still have no idea what you're talking about.
And he was a guy they tried to push as late as a year and a half ago, and they did several weeks of promos, produced video promos of him before he came on, and he appeared for like I think 2 episodes, and then that was it. It just didn't work. And it was a gimmick not terribly dissimilar from what they're trying to do with Adam Rose. I just don't think it didn't work then. I just don't think it's going to work now. They did, albeit give it a little bit more of an Austin Powers type approach this time around.
Right.
Because the whole thing with Concarney, and I might be saying his name wrong, the whole gimmick with him was that the fact he was a party guy from the carnival, more than likely somebody who was a low life, who worked the carnival settings and stuff. He was to be a heel, and I do know that Adam is. So they're trying to sculpture him as being a face right now.
Correct.
But I just don't see it working. It didn't work then. I don't think it's going to work now because, quite frankly, the whole thing is rather. What's that technical word for that?
Stupid.
Yeah, stupid. That's it. That's the exact word for it. Just don't see it happening. I can see the possible feud between Jack Swagger and Rusev being more plausible. That or my earlier prediction that I made last week of the possible match between Zeb Coulter and Paul Heyman.
We'll see. We'll see. I don't know if they've moved past that or not.
I don't know. I think there'd be such a great interest in that. Neither one of them would have to turn face. They would both still be heels, even though I think it's unquestionable that if a match like that ever existed, Paul Heyman would definitely be the audience favorite.
Yeah, he would.
There's no way that could roll any other way. But I think that would be an interesting storyline. And speaking of predictions, the prediction I made concerning the brothers Goldust and
we know.
Yeah, well, yeah,
yeah,
okay.
we know.
And don't forget, this is all coming from the same guy who predicted 100% correct on last week's pay-per-view.
By the way, because I watched the pay-per-view.
Yes.
And can I give you the match of the night?
Sure.
To El Toro and Hornswoggle.
Oh, God.
Match of the night. And I'm going on the record saying that. That was fun.
Was that pretty much old school?
It was old school, midget wrestling. They had midget announcers dressed up.
I saw that.
It was great. They even had midget referees.
Well, they all played small parts.
They all play small parts. and like I said on Twitter, I go, for some reason this match is falling short for me. And they had little step ladders and stuff like that.
Yeah, I saw the little table they used to slam Hornswoggle through. Yeah,
it was great.
I guess it probably was pretty entertaining. Well, this week undoubtedly they're going to be announcing at least the first few matches that they're going to be having for Payback. Make them all official. They're going to be inked up and ready to rock and roll. We'll see what's going to happen and see if any of my predictions again come true and see if I can keep up 100%. You think?
Nope.
We'll see. Until next week, be sure to join us here for another edition of SCI.